this is part 3. Now we're going to move on to the right hand. Again, for people who didn't watch the other one first, because you thought, oh, I'm right-handed, let me look at the right-handed videos. I recommend, if you are right-hand dominant, that you start with the left hand. Or if you're ambidextrous, but you sign your name with your right hand, I recommend you start with the left-hand drills, because it's easier for most people psychologically to go from the thing that's harder to the thing that's easier. So if you can get it with your less dominant hand, then move to your dominant hand, then go back to your less dominant hand, that can really improve the learning process for people. I've noticed that people get frustrated sometimes if they start with their dominant hand and then they go to the less dominant hand because it seems so much harder. But hey, it's your practice, whatever works for you. Again, we're starting in overhand in the same transition front to back. And make sure when you get back here that your plane isn't doing something like this, but that it is actually behind the frame, the line of your body, it's actually behind that. If you don't have the flexibility to do that, I have a shoulder opener series, like a whole entire playlist dedicated to opening up and stretching your shoulder and back, which might be helpful for you. And then you are doing the same thing that we did with the left hand, only with the right. We're going in counterclockwise for overhand with the right, because we're coming over the top. And then at the 6 o'clock point, you're going to flip it to the 12 o'clock behind you, and then you're pushing out to the side here. And then you're gonna flip it over the top, back to the front. So this is the full motion when you do it. Now, if you have to start out where you're doing, say, 3, 2, 1, and then 3, 2, 1, and then 3, 2, 1, then 3, 2, 1, then you reduce it to 2, and 2, and 2, and 2, and then you get to singles. That's okay too. Do what you need to do to get there. But this is the actual motion that you're trying to do. Now, the next one we did in that video was this waist high one, and I had you start out with the circle behind, this guy. But before you do the circle, again, I still think it's really useful to learn the control associated with this particular pendulum, because you're learning to understand where the poi is relative to the arm and having it become an extension of the arm itself, since the pendulum is initiating at the elbow. And I don't recommend long skirts. I don't spin in a skirt this long normally, so I'm hitting my skirt, which means I could do better. I need practice too, always, and I've done this countless times. So once you have the general pendulum down, you want to then push out at the bottom of the turn. So you're here, you're gonna push to your right, you're gonna push and flick. Right? So if you're in the pendulum, you push out to the side, away from the butt crack. And then again, you want to be doing this so that your palm is posterior, not anterior like this. So you don't want your elbow to collapse. You don't want to be rotating your shoulder this way and having your elbow collapse in towards your butt. You want your elbow to be out like this. And as you're doing the gesture, you want to be engaging your shoulder and your elbow. The analogy I like to use for this is, imagine there's a bike pump here and you're pumping on the bike pump, you're pumping, you're pumping, you're pumping, you're pumping, and you use the shoulder as well as the elbow. And then what you also do is you flick out to the side, which happens with both the wrist and the fingertips. And that's how you get the circle going. And then once you can do 20 of those, not hitting yourself, you can start working on doing the figure 8, going from the back to the front, keeping it low and tight, and remembering it's not this, which is still the same basic transition, but the physiology is quite different when you have the palm posterior versus like this anterior. You can notice the difference in the position of the elbow. Notice how it comes out to the side more versus here it collapses in more. And if you can see it, there's a difference in the shoulder itself. There's more rotation forward on the one where the palm is back versus this way, there's rotation backward when the palm is front. So you want the awkward rotation forward for this particular one. Then once you have this waist high one, or I mean, I would not work on these serially. I would work on all of them at the same time. So I would do all 5 overhands, all 5 underhands, or all 5 left hands, all 5 right hands, or I would do all 20 of them. And what I would really do is actually do 30 reps or 50 reps. I would sandwich the drills. So if your left hand is weaker, do all of them left hand, all of them right hand, all of them left hand, and then just pick a specific number of reps that you're going to do, and then you can increase that over time. I recommend people have 20, be able to get to 20 reps, even if you hit yourself occasionally. I recommend that before trying to use it in any of the moves in general. 20 consecutive without hitting yourself is even better. Except for the weave prep. That one I really do recommend the 50, eyes closed, and then 3 sets of that before trying to put the weave together. But that's because the weave is just so much more complicated as a 3D move on each side. Okay, once you've done that waist high and the chest high, the next thing is the head high one. You're going front to back, front to back, front to back. Again, it's not with your hand out here to the side. And again, when it's here, it's much more likely to hit your face because it's in line with your head, versus here where your hand is in line with your head, so it's much less likely to hit your face. And then if you're struggling with this one, you can practice these drills here where you're holding the poi in front of your body, and then drilling here where you're holding it behind your body, and then practicing the figure 8. Or you can start at the chest and inch your way up. So while you're doing your figure 8, just move up by an inch or centimeter and move in and up and in and up until you get here to the crown of your head. Also, you're not wanting to go all the way up here full extension. You want your elbow bent and your hand, if you have hair, you should be feeling some hair on the back of your hand occasionally. That's how tight to the skull you want it. Next is the floor and ceiling. We're back to the corkscrew. So this one, an overhand, goes to the left at the farthest point on the circle, the 12 o'clock. It's going to the left counterclockwise. And you want to start by stirring your pot down here. And then as the poi is coming around to the side, you're going to start lifting the hand up. And then as it gets to the front, you're going to come up and around your head. So if you look at it from this side, I'm down here at my 3 o'clock. I start lifting my hand. By 12, it's up. And then suddenly I now have it above my head and I'm doing the lasso. Then as it's coming to the front, when you see it hitting at the 12, start bringing your hand down and circling below. So you circle 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then up and down. So you're going to lasso the cattle, stir the pot, lasso the cattle, stir the pot, and then just get it so that you're doing 1 on top, 1 below, 1 on top, 1 below. And again, you want to turn with it. You want to play with various speeds, so you're going slower with a smaller diameter circle and faster with a bigger diameter circle. And then you want to also turn against it. And then next up, we have the crossover, the figure 8, side to side, home and away, home and away. Again, try not to have your hands way out here. Bring it in and down, close to in that triangle of power area, so you're right in front of yourself, right here as you're going side to side. And remember, you have to, if you're hitting your leg like this, it means your hand isn't getting, or technically it means the poi is not getting past the hip line. You probably want to move your arm over a little bit further so that it doesn't do that. Once you have the figure 8, you want to change the pattern to 2 away, 1 home, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. And another way to think about it, if you were struggling with adding the hand in, is high, low, home, high, low, home, high, low, home, because you're going to go over, under, home when you get this. Again, if you're struggling, just do the circle, put the hand in the equation, remember to keep it on the plane inside the poi line, the poi plane, so that you don't have this happen, and then go from over at the top of the turn. So the poi is up there, you come from there down below the arm to here, and then at that same top of the turn, when it's here, cross it back to its home side. So over, under, home, over, under, home, over, under, home, over, under, home. Try to remember not to, you don't have to do it all the way out here. Keep it in low and tight, close to your body. That'll help you remember when you put the two hands together to keep them low and tight.